Vicki Medford with Medford Knife and Tool. It's been a while since we've done a video for Green Top in Ashland, Virginia. I think their whole name, their website name is greentophuntfish.com. Greentophuntfish.com. But they're Green Top in Ashland, Virginia. Jimmy and Ricky are our boys up there. You know, I feel like it's been forever since we've seen anybody because we didn't do SHOT Show this year. So, God, it's been a long year. I can't keep track of time anymore, I feel like. But anyway, Green Top, love those guys. They're in Ashland, Virginia. Phone number is 804-550-2188. And we have some really beautiful knives headed their way. So let's see what we got going to Ashland, Virginia. We have two micro Praetorian Tis, two completely different fit and finish. So like a dark and a light version, I would say. The top one is black and bronze. So S35 PVD drop point, black handles, breaker, brushed bronze clip, and bronze hardware. Black and bronze, super classic and manly tactical. And then the bottom one, S35 satin drop point. The handles are bead blasted, a very subtle violet to bronze fade, flamed hardware, NP3 breaker, complements the blade beautifully, and a brushed and flamed clip. Both equally as cool, sexy, badass, and just completely different looking knives. And then we go into the mid-size. So if you want to talk about Praetorians a little bit, we have the small version, what is the micro. Then we have the mid-size, which is the Genesis, and the full size, which is the Praetorian T or G. And as you can see, there is the G10 version, and there is the titanium version. And then we have the same in the Genesis. I just don't have a micro G on the table, but you can do G10 or titanium in any of the sized knives. The only thing we don't offer G10 in is the slim version. So here's a Genesis G. G stands for G10, obviously. It is still a titanium frame lock. It's got titanium on the spring. So this is black and tan. You're just gonna have to go get yourself a Guinness after this video, right? So S35 PVD drop point blade, coyote tan handle, PVD hardware, clip, breaker spring. Super cool. And then the Genesis G here, another drop point, PVD with faced violet falling leaf handles, PVD hardware, brushed and flame clip, and a PVD breaker. So black and violet, very dark and brooding and sexy. And then the second Genesis T, S35 tumbled tanto. It's a little more difficult now to tell the difference between tumbled and satin, but when even the tumble has this shiny mirror-like surface, you can see that it has been tumbled. And when you hold it next to satin, the satin's just got a much cleaner, tight look to it. This one here, I mean, tight, that just comes to mind. It looks super tight, clean. This one here is peaks and valleys, a large peaks and valleys with a beautiful blue and a brushed and flamed clip. And then the last Genesis on the table harkens back to World War II, the aviation artwork on the airplanes that were flown in that era. I love the rivets, I love the star and bar, and the growler teeth. Super cool. And typically we don't put it both on the handle and spring, but it is on this knife. The heat does affect titanium, so I think it's just kind of a crapshoot. We don't typically offer it. So for this one to be on here and it came through beautifully, went together nicely, it's kind of a treat. Here's the slim midi Marauder, the mid-size version of the Marauder family. Super slim, S35 tumble tanto blade, large peaks and valleys, bronze on the handle and spring, brushed and flamed clip, and flamed hardware. And then we get into the full-size Praetorian series. I have a D2 PVD tanto blade. So this blade on the website is offered in D2. We have both S35 and 3V and D2 offered if a reseller wants to order it. And I love that it's a D2 blade. There are a lot of guys who don't, I think maybe P-Shaw D2 and say, well, D2 isn't that great. Well, this is CPM D2. It is not just any old D2, and we heat treat it perfectly. So it's a nice, hard use tool steel. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's gonna work nice and ruddy and hold a nice edge as well. Black G10 handle, PVD breaker, and the new PVD process on the spring. So that's a Praetorian G D2 PVD tanto. And there are gonna be guys that are just gonna love having that because it's not very common anymore. Another Praetorian G, this one is S35, tumbled drop point blade, OD green handle, NP3 breaker, tumbled spring, and a flamed clip with flamed hardware. And then the hallmark Praetorian model, I wouldn't say the Grail, I would say the Grail is Praetorian Ti, which overall length is identical, but the thickness is different. This is much more carryable, I would say, than the Ti. 0.190 inch thick blade, just like the Praetorian G and the Genesis and the Micro for that matter. So we have Lazy River on this with a Vio blue flamed hardware. Really cool. I would call that psychedelic. It definitely harkens back to the 70s. Super cool pattern on there. And then we have 4 varying USMC fighter flippers. The first one, tumble blade bead blasted bronze, so it's got a super smooth, consistent, matte bronze handle and spring, flamed hardware, flamed pommel, flamed clip. The second one is all Terminator, but the handles have been faced. Again, you can see that super shiny surface. You see the titanium, the grains in the titanium, which I think makes it really industrial looking. Very wickedly cool looking. Then I have a blacked out USMC fighter flipper, one of my all-time favorites. Handle spring breaker, pommel, hardware, clip. Oh, I lied, brushed and flame clip. So a little pop of color on the clip there. And the blue with the new treatment just comes out brilliantly. It's just gorgeous, especially against all the black blade hardware clip pommel. That blue and PVD is just gorgeous. The last knife on the table, not as popular a knife, but it is Greg's very, very first folding knife he ever made, the TFF1, the Tactical Fighting Folder 1. S35 PVD blade. The handles, when we do PVD coating with falling leaf, a lot of times the falling leaf is done after the coatings, but this one's more subtle. So falling leaf, then coatings, and then we did a pinstriping, or I should say brushed perimeters. The pinstriping would just be hitting that outer chamfered edge. So, brushed perimeters, PVD handle and spring with falling leaf, and then the hardware to kind of match the perimeters has been PVD and then brushed. So really cool TFF1 there. All right, so everything on the table headed out to Ashland, Virginia, Green Top. Check them out at greentophuntfish.com or stop by the store, get your hands on something. They have all kinds of cool stuff there. I haven't been there, but I've seen pictures of the website, and I know they're busy all the time. So see what you can get your hands on. Keep watching the videos, and until the next time, I'm out.